Hi, 7th graders. Today I'm going to show you how to draw a proportionate human face. So I have my sketchbook page open, and the first thing I'm going to have you do is take a hold of one sheet and fold it in half while it's still in the sketchbook and crease it down the middle. So that's going to be the center line of our human face. Now, if you think about your face for a minute, you know that it's symmetrical between from one side to the other, just like a butterfly. You have an eye on both sides, you have an ear on both sides. We're not really just talking about the face, we're going to draw a whole human head. So to gauge how big to do this, I'm going to lay my pencil down here, and I'm going to use my pencil as a guideline on how big to start my oval for the face shape. Now, to get the sides from side to side, how big I want my oval to be, I'm going to make it about 2/3 of what the whole pencil is. So let's say if it was 3 parts here, so that'd be about 2/3. So I'm going to turn that and kind of center it, and I'm going to make a mark there and move it over and kind of make a mark here. This is just to kind of get how big I need to draw this. Now the top of the head is going to be mostly rounded. So we don't want to make that line go to, we don't want a pointed head. So we're going to round this up a bit. And we're going to round it out this way, about the same on both sides of that center line. Now a head is really more like an egg. It's not round. So this being our chin mark, we're going to round down to that. We're going to keep it kind of flat there, but keep rounding it to the chin. We're going to have kind of an average face here. Now different people have different face shapes. Now I'm going to guess my way and find about halfway down this oval and make myself a little mark there. And I'll try to kind of sketch a line across. Notice I'm drawing really lightly because these are just guidelines. I want to be able to get rid of them later. So this is about halfway. I want you to look in a mirror if you have a chance, if you want to pause this video or whatever, go look and look between the top of your head and your chin and see how far your eyes are. And I think you will see that they are about halfway between the top of your head and your chin. So we're going to start with the eyes and putting them in. Now, one mistake that people make is they tend to draw eyes too small. An eye, if you look also when you're looking in the mirror, you can get about one eye width between your eyes. So if I start here and do my curve, and I'm going to check how big I made that and try to do one in between. So I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger this way. And then I'm going to move over here and try to make my arch the same size. Now the bottoms of your eyes are a little flatter than the tops. The tops arch up. The bottoms are usually a little bit more flat. So it's not like a football shape exactly. And about 5 eye widths should fit across your face. So if I were to draw them in, I'd almost have room for 5 eyes across. But I'm not going to draw them in because I don't want to make a 5-eyed alien today. So now we have our eyes placed. Now remember, you can pause the video anytime so that you can get it worked out right. Just draw lightly so you can erase when you make a mistake. Now if you look at a face, which I wish I had an example here with my video, your nose is about halfway between your eyes and your chin. So that's about halfway between here and here. We're going to make a mark, and that's going to be the bottom of your nose. Now if you also look in a mirror, you'll see that the width of your nose, the outside of your nose, lines up with the inside corners of your eyes. So if we drop a light line down there, This is where your nose should fit. Now our nose isn't a box and doesn't look like that. But I'm going to go in now with, you can continue to draw with pencil, but I'm going to use a pen so you'll be able to see this better. What I see when I look straight ahead at my nose is the curves out here. And I usually see the tip of the nose. And then depending on the person, I see some of their nostrils on each side. I'm going to darken that just a little so you can tell that's the nostril. Then the bridge of the nose gets a little thinner. I'm going to put a light line there to kind of indicate that. And then I'm going to erase these lines because I don't want those there. Now, let's go, while we're doing that, let's go back to the eye for a minute. I have a piece of paper here. And I'm going to show you what an eye actually looks like inside your head. So if you are looking at an eye inside, it would be a full round sphere. The back of it would have nerves that run back to send the images that come into your eye to your brain. This part would be the colored part of your eye, the iris, and this part would be the pupil. Now, the pupil is always, here's the iris, that's the colored part, whatever color yours is. The pupil is always centered in that circle. They're concentric circles. It's never like this, off center. If that happens, really, you should see a doctor right away. So that, when you draw it, you need to make sure that the pupil, no matter how big or small it is, because that all depends on light in a room, it's still going to be centered. Now, if we were looking at somebody from the side, then their eyelid comes down like this, and their lower lid is something like this, and this would be your cheek, and your nose would be back here, and your lips down here. And then your eyebrow would be up here somewhere. I drew that a little strangely. But that's kind of how your eye looks. There's a sphere inside there, but you're only seeing a small part of it. So also, if you look at your eyes, they don't usually look like this. We don't see the full circle of the iris, the colored part. We see most of it, but usually what happens is, draw another iris over here, and here's the pupil, that the eyelid drops over the top of that circle. It is a circle, it isn't an oval, but the eyelid drops across it this way. And that's where you see your eye normally, your shape. This would be, you don't even have an eyelid showing there. It needs to come across like this. So when we do the eyes, we're going to draw a complete circle, but let it kind of come up above the line there. Let's see if we can get this one similar size. And then draw our pupil in the middle. Try to make those the same size on both sides. And then our eyelid's going to come across like we've got it drawn. I'm going to erase the top part of the circle, the little circle, and then I'm going to put on the eyelids. I didn't do a very good job erasing there. Now the inside corner of your eye is usually a little tear duct. Now we need some eyebrows. So I'm going to go up a little bit above the eye, probably about maybe an eye width up, and start above the inside corner. Eyebrows are very personal. Some people have bushy ones, some people have light ones or narrow ones, but they normally come out, they start somewhere above the tear duct, and they go out, and they usually kind of line up with the nose and the eye here. So let's go over here and see if we can do another one. Again, don't be afraid to pause the video so that you can keep up. And I try not to make it a solid line because eyebrows are made of little hairs, right? Now, next we're going to move on to the mouth. The mouth, if we want a guideline for it, if we go halfway between the nose and the chin, so that would be about right here, that's where the bottom of the lower lip sets. So let's just do this, kind of make the lower lip. And then I'm going to put a line across. That's going to be where the lips come together. And then the top lip. Now, people have different shaped top lips, and it's very important that when you're drawing somebody that you look at their lip. And we're just going to do kind of an average one here. Some people have bigger top lips, some have a thinner top lip. Mouths are very individual, but that is kind of how we would place the mouth. Now, this is kind of looking like an egg head. So I'm going to see if I can't, these were my guidelines to get my face shape proportioned correctly, but I'm going to bring this in just a little bit, and most people's faces curve a little more than this. Like you have the cheek and a cheekbone, and you curve in a little bit here at your chin. So we'll look less like an egghead and more like maybe a real person. So now, this top of the head, what do we need? What are we missing? I'd say we need some ears. Now, ears, to get the placement on ears, you need to be, your ears starting even with your eye and going up a little. That's because if you think about, if you wear glasses, that's where your glasses rest, about even with your eye. They go up from there. And your ear, if you look in a mirror, is about almost even with the bottom of your nose. They take up about a third of the space of your face. So about here. Some people's ears are flat, some stick out a little more. We're going to go with just kind of flat here. And there's the earlobe, where you would attach an earring or whatever. And that looks pretty good at this point. Now, this person could be a man or a woman at this point. We're going to put a neck on first before we go any farther. So if you take your hands then and put them up on your neck on either side so that you touch your ears a little bit, you'll notice that your neck is a little bit thinner than your face, but not, I mean, it holds you up. What I see people doing wrong, I'm going to do this wrong intentionally, is they draw a neck like this. Well, that wouldn't hold up your head. Your head weighs about the same as a gallon of milk, and you can look up what that weighs. I think it's like 9 or 11 pounds. And your neck is almost as wide as out here at your ears. So if you come down just a little ways from your ear, and you start down this way, we're trying to make it a little curvy so it's not super straight. That's about how wide your neck should be. Now, don't make a corner here. You kind of curve out to your shoulder. And actually, shoulders are about 3 heads wide. So if I have a head here, the shoulders are going to go off the page before they curve down. Now let's get some hair on this person. So I will do hair on one side that maybe would look like a girl, and I'll do hair on the other side that kind of looks like different kind of guys here. So if this is a guy, even if it's a guy, your hair is not flat on your head. It usually sticks up a little from your scalp or whatever. So it would start up above a little ways. We'll do a kind of a short-haired person here. Could be me. And if you notice your face, your hairline where your hair starts growing is probably down here a little bit. So we could do kind of a cross like that. And we have typical boy hair. You could leave it bald if you want to make a guy. Now to do a girl's hair, let's do long hair. We could have bangs, or we could pull the hair back this way. And the ears. And then however long we wanted to make it. They could come down behind the shoulder if we wanted to, whatever. Now, one thing about the face, if you want a person to smile, you kind of have to look. Right now, this mouth is just kind of an average mouth. When you smile, your mouth gets wider and widens out. So if we want this person to smile, we kind of have to bring out the corners of the mouth a little bit and tip them up a little bit so that they're kind of equal with the pupils. I'll color the pupils in a little bit there. And that's going to make the person look like they're smiling a little bit. Now, eyelashes. This is something that people get wrong a lot when, well, I have an eye drawn there. They tend to want to do this. We have that starry eye, and then they want to put lots of lashes on it. Or they make them short and really furry looking. Eyelashes really kind of curve, and on a guy you don't see them so much. It's more or less just a darker place, and actually on girls you don't always see them all individually either, but sometimes it's just that there's a darker area there. If you want to give it eyelashes, you should start them shorter towards the center of the face, and they curve and they get a little longer, and vary the lengths of them so they don't look fake. And then you might put just a few here because they're not as thick usually on the lower lid. So I can finish this up. I can add clothing or whatever. If you wanted to play around with it, you could add facial hair. Let's give him a mustache on the side. We could give him a beard. You can give him long sideburns if you wanted to. That is totally up to you. But if you can get the proportions right, your face will look human. So good luck to you. Give it a try. Just use a regular pencil for drawing. Then if you want to do some shading, try out your drawing pencils. And let's see if you can draw a human face. That's it for today. I'll be anxious to see what you post in our media album. Bye.